Okay, so we're going to work on this trig identities day 3 now. The warm-up question here is actually quite simple if we work on it slowly and we change everything to sine and cos. So secant is 1 over cos, and then the left side is similar to that trick that we did at the end of the last note. So we get sine squared over cos squared plus, now I'm going to go straight to cos squared over cos squared. Whoops. Knowing that cos squared over cos squared is 1, sine squared plus cos squared is 1 because of the Pythagorean identity. This is cos squared, and I'm actually done. Therefore, left side equals right side. Therefore, tan squared theta plus 1 equals secant squared theta. Again, when you're doing these questions, you're not always going to see it the same as someone else, so you need to work on it in a way that you understand. It might take you a few extra steps, but everyone should be able to do these if they use those identities. You will have an identity sheet or a formula sheet with IB, and it will help you through that. Oh, we've got the right side I've already written in there is equal to sine over cos. Now the left side, this one's actually really simple if you remember factoring. I'm going to factor a sine theta out of the top. And I'm going to have 1 plus sine theta over cos 1 plus sine theta. And if I look, the answer is actually right in the middle there. These two terms will cancel out, and I'm left with sine squared, or sine theta over cos theta. Therefore, left side equals right side. Therefore, sine theta plus sine squared theta over cos theta, 1 plus sine theta equals tan theta. Now, you could have done a lot of rearranging. You could have divided by cos plus cosine and kind of slowly worked your way through this question. There would have been a long roundabout way of doing it. There is typically an easier way to do things. Factoring in this case was that easier way, but some of you won't see that. It doesn't mean you won't eventually get there. You should slowly plug your way through the question if you've already started. So let's look at this next one. So the right side here, again, I'm not going to actually work on the right side, but I do want to change it to cos and sine. This is going to be 1 over cos times 1 over sine, which is just 1 over cosine. And now looking at the left side, and they're both squared, sorry. We've got 1 over cos squared plus 1 over sine squared. Now this is one of my favorite types of questions. It's really unique looking, but it's actually very simple after you've done it a couple of times. We need to make a common denominator of cos squared sine squared. So I'm going to multiply the first fraction by sine squared, and I'm going to get cos squared sine squared. The second fraction, I'm going to multiply by cos squared. I'm going to get cos squared sine squared. And now I've got that Pythagorean identity on the top. Sine squared plus cos squared is equal to 1. And therefore, left side equals right side. Therefore, secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta equals secant squared theta times cosecant squared theta. That's a fun one. It's unique, but it is nice once you understand how to do it. All right, the last one here. I'm going to leave the right side alone and just work on the left side. And I am going to make this like a grade 6 division. Okay, I'm going to put that divided by sign. I'm going to make this 1 over 1 times sine squared over cos squared. I'm doing this in a few steps here, just to make sure that everyone sees what I'm doing. But 1 over 1 is going to be cos squared over cos squared plus sine squared over cos squared. So that becomes sine squared theta cos squared theta times cos squared, we're flipping the fraction, over sine squared theta plus, or sorry, cos squared theta plus sine squared theta, which I could have written it sine squared plus cos squared, it's the same thing. These two will cancel out. This will cancel to a 1 because we know that that's equal to 1. So we're left with sine squared over 1, which is just sine squared. Therefore, left side equals right side. Therefore, tan squared theta over 1 plus tan squared theta equals sine squared theta.